What is going on? Do you support Trump, Robbie?
Yep, I do.
Cool. How old are you?
I thought you were about to ask my age. Sorry,
Yeah, how
I
old are
was
you?
prepared for that. 20.
Cool. I believe you. I just have one last donation here, and then I'll go and let you take it away. Alania, thank you for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Show some love to Alania down below. Alania says, "Did you know that every second Dean's hair is I don't know what that donation means. Someone should explain that to me. Thank you for the $50, Alania. Incredibly kind of you. Let's get 500 Alania W's down below. Now take it away, Robbie. Why do you support Trump?
I mean, I wasn't like super crazy into politics, but I just feel like Trump really supports the military. I mean, obviously people can go back and forth, but I just fucked with the parade. Honestly, I fucked with it. I know a lot of people hated on it and shit, said, "Oh, silent protest," but
Okay,
I
so
fucked with it.
because he did a military parade that was just a significant waste of resources, that means that he fucks with the military. But when he explicitly violates the Constitution 5 times in the last 160 days, and dodged the draft 3 times in his youth from Vietnam, and explicitly called for the termination of the Constitution, when all members of the military took an oath to uphold the Constitution, that's not any evidence that he doesn't fuck with the military, right?
Well, in Vietnam, there was like you were allowed to not be drafted if you were in college. He was in college for like a lot of his
No,
young
the way in which he dodged the draft was by falsely claiming bone spurs, not because he was in college.
falsely claiming what?
The way that he dodged the draft was by falsely claiming bone spurs, not by saying that he was in college. And then also, if you know anything about the draft related to Vietnam, so it started out by like excluding college students and like fathers, etc. But as the war moved on, the draft relinquished those rules, and they got to a point where they're kind of drafting anybody and everybody. But the specific way that he dodged the draft was by falsely claiming bone spurs.
Oh, I wasn't tracking that. I knew that like back then I know of a lot of people who fucking didn't go to Vietnam because they were in college and they were like the government was like, all right, as long as you're like getting good grades or blah blah blah, blah we're not gonna fucking draft you
Okay.
because you're
Well,
good
him
for our
dodging the draft
society.
because of false claim of bone spurs is like incredibly well documented. So I mean, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. Besides that, like, how do you feel about like the parade and stuff? Were you like,
It was a waste
I
of
don't know.
resources.
Okay. I mean, you could argue that, but at the same time, like, we do a lot of things that aren't completely necessary for our country's benefit.
Okay. All right.
That
How about we just
you
agree
could
to disagree?
argue.
It kind of seems like a pretty inconsequential topic. Like, I don't know why this parade is like what has made you support Trump. Like
I mean,
it just seems like really inconsequential. Like I'm gonna be like I'll be frank. My position is that it's like it was absolutely unnecessary, a waste of resources. But like ultimately, like the military parade seemingly is like pretty inconsequential. Like sure it gave North Korea, but like oh well, like there's more important things that we could be discussing here, such as how the BBB that he's trying to get passed through Congress today is going to kick 11 million people off of Medicaid, or put the SNAP benefits of 11 million American citizens at risk, or like maybe the fact that he's only increased global tensions. He's stripped the human rights away from 66 million American women. I think there's
you
a lot
talking
more
about
consequential
abortion?
things that we could talk about than that. Yes, about
What are you
abortion.
talking about? You think? So, what are you talking about when you say he's stripped like the rights away from 66 million women? Are you talking about
Yeah, because he
how?
influenced SCOTUS to overturn Roe v. Wade. That led to like 23 red states banning elective abortions. I find that to be a
Okay.
violation of women and girls' human rights because I think it is a human rights infraction to restrict or impede upon somebody's bodily autonomy without good reason. And I just don't think that there is any good reason for the abortion bans.
Yeah, I mean, an argument you could make for that, whether you support abortion or not, is like, okay, like ultimately we're a democracy and we're a big ass country with a lot of different states that have sometimes wildly different opinions. But if you could argue that it becomes more democratic when you divide it up into smaller pieces. Like if states have more power, right, to make laws about literally anything, yeah, okay, maybe I don't support abortion, but maybe another state fucking does or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
If
But
you give
if,
that
if
state the
everybody
option,
and everybody in Alabama wanted slavery back, would you be okay with that?
no, but that's not my state. Like, okay, that's obviously a drastically fucking different argument though. That's like
Why? Because it's a human
Some
rights
people,
violation? Are you
okay,
saying that human rights should be protected by the federal government?
yes, but I don't
Right.
think,
That's my
okay,
argument about abortion. Because remember how I said I think it's a human rights violation to
okay, but
restrict or take that right away from women.
you can't say that. Okay, like the opinions on abortion and the opinions on basic fundamental, like human, like all right, so human like shit like slavery, obviously like you probably 99.9% of Americans would agree that that's obviously
But,
not something.
keep up. You agreed that human rights should be protected by the federal government. Yes?
They should be protected by state governments too.
Okay. So should states be able to legislate on human rights?
I think that states should have more power than the federal
That's
government.
not the question that I asked. The question that I asked is, do you think that states should be able to legislate on human rights?
I think yes, more so than the federal government.
Okay, so if you were like dictator of America and 51% of people in Alabama agreed that they wanted to have a vote on like reinstituting the legality of slavery, you would say that they should have the legal ability to do that.
Yeah, but you're using
I just want to clarify. This isn't an extreme hypothetical. This is literally what the
If
Confederacy
the federal
did.
government, if the federal, all right, if you want the federal
Can we
government,
just can we
to
just
have
agree
power,
that this is not like an extreme far out hypothetical? This is literally what caused the Civil War.
yeah,
So,
fucking
so I just want to
250
clarify.
years.
You agreed with the Confederacy. Do you like self-identify as a Confederate?
No,
Okay, so you're not a
I don't.
Confederate. So you disagree with the Confederacy? Well, then thereby you would disagree with like states having the right to legislate on human rights.
That's not true.
That's
Literally,
what the
the
Confederacy
Union,
wanted. The Confederacy started the fucking Civil War by trying to secede from the Union because the Union
the
didn't want to give
Union,
them the ability to legislate on the human right of bodily autonomy, self-ownership, and dignity and personhood by arguing that they should be within their legal rights to rule black individuals as nothing more than property.
Union states had different states with different human rights. There were literally Union states that had slaves
Union states that
after
had
the
slaves.
after the Emancipation Proclamation. Maryland had slaves, and they were a part of the Union, or they were neutral. And then there were slaves like I think it was I can't remember
Okay,
what state it was.
okay. Listen. At the end of the day, do you think that states should be able to legislate on slavery or not?
Yes.
You do think they should.
Maybe not all human rights, but I think the vast
Well,
majority,
can you just answer my question? Yes or no? Should states be able to legislate on slavery?
for the most part. No, whoa, hold on.
What,
Yes,
dude?
yes,
Yes? Okay,
but
so
I,
you do think that states should be able to legislate on slavery, right?
yes, because I think most states, all states, would 100% agree that slavery.
Okay. So if Alabama legalized slavery through a statewide vote, and you had the ability to snap your fingers and outrule that law given the power of the American Constitution, would you or would you not snap your fingers?
If I'm sorry, that's fucking.
If Alabama legalized slavery through a statewide vote and you had the power to ban that law and recriminalize slavery within a moment's notice, okay, because of the power vested in the federal government, would you snap your fingers?
Yeah, probably. But like that's
So
such
you
an
don't
extreme
think-
case. Though. You can't use slavery. You can't
so you
compare
don't think.
slavery to
So you told me that you do think states should have the legal right to legislate on slavery, but now you're saying no. So I just want to affirm that the conclusion is that you do not think states should have the legal right to legislate on slavery, right?
on slavery. Yes, I think states should be able to. Yes,
But you just said that.
but I don't think.
But you just contradicted that because I asked you if Alabama did legalize slavery and you could snap your fingers and recriminalize it in the state via the power vested in the Constitution. You said you would snap your fingers. Okay.
Okay.
So in saying that you would
Okay,
snap
yeah.
your fingers, you're saying that states shouldn't have the ability to legislate / legalize slavery, as that power should be vested in the federal government on behest of the American Constitution. So now you're just all over the place. I mean, like you're literally just an incomprehensible mess of words that's making no damn sense.
Okay, yeah, but you're saying legislate on slavery / legalize slavery. Like I'm saying, it's okay. Like that states should have slavery. Obviously, the general public of like today's America.
I'm not going to allow you to move on. I'm not going to allow you to move on until we could clarify if you do think that states should have the ability to legalize slavery or not,
Yes,
because
I think they
we're
should
not there.
because I think most people are good, and I think most
Okay,
states
okay, okay. So
are
so if Alabama
morally good
did,
enough.
so if Alabama did legalize slavery, okay, if Alabama
Right.
did legalize slavery, and you had the power to snap your fingers and recriminalize it in the state by the power vested in the federal government in the Constitution, would you snap your fingers?
I mean, obviously, yes. Like if the
Bro,
federal government is ultimately over the state, then they have more power than the
what is
state.
going on?
But
I don't understand because you're like
you're
contradicting
you're
yourself.
literally okay.
You're
You're trying.
saying that states should have the right to legalize slavery and that states shouldn't have the right to legalize slavery, like simultaneously. You're literally contradicting yourself. You're saying that a square is a circle. You're saying that when it's nighttime, it's daytime. You're saying that when it's cold out, it's hot out. You're saying that states should have the ability to legalize slavery, but states shouldn't have the ability to legalize slavery. I mean, you've already caused 800 people to leave because of your silly, illogical antics. I'm not going to allow this to continue. Either clear this mess up or I'm going to just move on to the next guest. So you better give
Are you
me
gonna?
some compelling response to clear this contradiction up and unmuddy the water, or I'm just going to move on.
No, I 100% get how you're saying there is a contradiction, but my whole point is that you have to trust that there is at least some sort of morality in the like laws that states make for themselves. Yes, obviously, like the whole reason that you give states power as opposed to the federal government is so that they.
Yeah, he got banned. Okay, moving on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. Well, that guy was like seriously, just like literally logically incomprehensible. There was like absolutely like nothing that guest was saying that was making sense.